Good evening, everyone. This is your news recap, your nightly news podcast on all the news that I come across throughout the day, giving you my take as somebody who aspires to be a politician in the near future. Hopefully, all you guys are doing wonderful. I'm doing pretty all right. Today is August 4th. Can you believe it, guys? It is crazy that it is already August. It feels like just yesterday it was January, and I was just starting out making content on TikTok. And, now we're here 8 months in and we're doing pretty well for ourselves. So thank you all so much for watching. If you're new here, drop a subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. It means the world to me and you'd be goated for it. Um, but with that being said, hopefully all you guys are doing wonderful today. Let's get right into the news from today. Moving into the Trump administration segment, as we do, the first topic we has is Trump has promoted Sydney Sweeney. Trump is doing essentially a Sydney Sweeney promotion on his True Social page. In his post, he wrote, "We're going to make the attempt at the Trump impression here. Sydney Sweeney, a registered Republican, has the hottest ad out there. It is for American Eagle, and the jeans are flying off the shelves. Go get 'em, Sydney." On the other side of the ledger, Jaguar did a stupid and seriously woke advertisement that is a total disaster. The CEO just resigned in a disgrace, and the company is in absolute turmoil. Who would want to buy a Jaguar after looking at that disgraceful ad? Shouldn't they have learned that a lesson from Bud Light, which once woke and essentially destroyed in a short campaign the company? The market cap destruction has been unprecedented, with billions of dollars so foolishly lost, or the destruction has been, or just look at the woke singer Taylor Swift. Ever since I alerted the world as to what she was by saying on Truth Social that I can't stand her, hate, she was the blood boot out of the Super Bowl and became no longer hot. The tide has seriously turned. Being woke is for losers. Being Republican is what you want to be. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That was so bad, but beautiful at the same time. Wow, 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 wow. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I swear Trump the other day, or not the other day, but recently was also saying that he was a fan of Taylor Swift. Interesting, interesting. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it's wild to see the president essentially do an ad campaign for an actress who is kind of a porn star. Really, she has that vibe, in my opinion, at the very least. Honestly, that's what I thought she was for the longest time. I didn't really know that she was also on things like The Handmaid's Tale and other things like that. I don't really follow Sydney Sweeney. I could care less about American media and actresses. I'll be completely honest. I watch Marvel movies. That's about all you're gonna get from me. Um, but I mean, outside of that, like, it's just it's bullshit. I really don't get the hype behind her. This entire ad campaign was stupid and blatantly racist. She's also not even really that pretty. She's really just the blonde hair, blue eye stereotype who is also probably racist. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked at all. Like, I don't get the hype. I really don't. I don't see it. She has weird vibes for one, and kind of just reinforces the sense for women that they have to be like some beautiful, perfect image rather than being the person they are, which I think is also stupid. I mean, we shouldn't have to conform ourselves to beauty standards. We should just be the people who we are and not worry about everyone else. In other news, moving on to another Trump segment, as Trump will withhold disaster aid to cities who planned to boycott Israel. The Trump administration has come out saying that states and cities that boycott Israeli companies will be ineligible for disaster relief funds. The DHS said in an April notice, recipients must comply with all applicable federal anti-discrimination laws and material to the government's payment decisions. This isn't the first time Trump has threatened to withhold funding for disaster relief. He threatened to do so in California as well amid political clashes with Gavin Newsom. I believe that was for the fires in LA. This is insane. And, last time I checked, we lived in the United States, not Israel. Not to mention, it is an infringement on freedom of speech. People have the right to boycott whoever they choose. I mean, the president shouldn't be allowed to just let people die for not supporting the actions of another country, especially Israel, like one of the most controversial topics in the world right now. That is so fucking dumb. Genuinely. Like, how would you feel if you had a flood through your city and the president told you you're not getting shit because you don't like Israel? Huh? I don't live there. I live in the United States. I live in the United States, pal. What's going on there? Like you're supposed to help me out, not Israel. Like I should be the top priority, not your little buddies over there. And no, it's crazy how much like control Israel has over American politics and American foreign policy. That needs to change. We need to take steps away from Israel. They are actively a problem. Benjamin Netanyahu is one of the biggest problems in politics today, and it needs to be changed. Um, Moving on, the State Department may start charging $15,000 for a visa. The State Department is launching a pilot program that requires migrants from some countries to pay a bond as high as $15,000 to secure a visa for business or even personal travel. The announcement from the department does not say which countries will have the fee, but it says that those with high visa overstay rates will likely see it. Selected countries will have a 15-day notice before the fee is enacted. The State Department argues that the program could serve as a critical diplomatic tool to compel other countries to address overstays by their nationals and address deficiencies in their identity verification standard and practices. 15 grand for a business trip is absolutely insane. If I had to pay that much on top of fees for flying and board or and room and like all those kinds of things, that trip is not happening. I'm telling you that much. Like this is genuinely killing the tourism industry in this country and doing so much more to that industry, which is horrible. Tourism is one of the biggest industries in the United States. It makes no sense to have to pay 15 grand just to come here. I mean, we have things like Disneyland here, and you want people to pay 15 grand just to take their family to Disneyland when they're from like Europe? Come on, dude. Like that's insane. Genuinely, that's insane. This order should be blocked flat out. It is not only stupid, but an insane order. Genuinely. Like 15 grand is crazy. That is wild. In other news, Saquon Barkley has declined Trump's special sports council invites. Running back for the Philadelphia Eagles, Saquon Barkley said he was shocked to hear his name mentioned as part of Trump's sports council due to him declining the request. Barkley said after practice, "A couple of months ago, it was brought to my team about the council, so I'm not really too familiar with it. I felt like I'm going to be super busy, so me and my family thought it would be the best interest not to accept that. I was definitely a little shocked when my name was mentioned. I'm assuming it's something great, so I appreciate it, but I was a little shocked when my name was mentioned." This is very interesting and an interesting statement to say the least. I don't know why Trump would include there if he declined it, but whatever. I guess maybe he forgot, or I don't know. If I had known that Saquon Barkley was going to have such a big connection with Trump during his administration, I wouldn't have bought his jersey after they won the Super Bowl. I did because I thought he was cool. My opinion has since changed. Will I be getting rid of that jersey? No, it is a Kelly Green jersey, and I paid $120 for it. So unfortunately, I will be not. It will stay in the collection for a remainder of time. But I do wish I bought a Hurts jersey. I really do. I don't think any former active players, should be involved with this. One, I think it's stupid. I think it's a bad look for not only them but the NFL as a whole. But also, like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Why are you spending time with one of the most controversial figures in the country right now, especially when your own fan base is shitting on you for it? Like, really, dude? Really? Like, you don't have better things to be spending your time doing than spend or playing golf with one of the most controversial figures in the country right now. It is genuinely so dumb to me that so many figures are choosing to spend time with the President of the United States while he is actively one of the most hated on people in the country right now. Like, what is the point? That's just bad PR. It really is. Like, you are putting yourself out there to get bad PR. And yes, publicity is still publicity, but like that's such bad PR. Like, why would you do that? In other news, moving on into our final Trump administration segments, there are plans for a nuclear reactor to be put on the moon. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is expecting to announce plans this week to build a nuclear reactor on the moon. This is his first major action as interim NASA director. As you know, previously he was also one of those Fox News employees. NASA has discussed the possibility of this, and this will set hopefully a timeline for the project, but it comes as the agency faces massive budget cuts, so some worry that this might not be the case. NASA officials claim it's about winning the second space race. The plans look, the plans look to launch the, excuse me again, sorry, the plans look to launch the reactor by 2030 again against concerns of Russian and Chinese joint space projects. This is interesting to say the least. Of course, NASA has lost a lot of funding and talent due to budget cuts and purges on the federal workforce. I mean, all over. Not to mention the amount of those employees China has hired. I think it's honestly a fact that we're going to lose, which is Trump's fault. He's setting us up for failure here. I don't know how you expect this to get done without the people who know how to do it. Genuinely, like, I think that we are going to fail here. I don't think this is going to be a win for the United States of America. If China is also pushing to put a nuclear reactor on the moon, I think they will get it first. I really do at this point. Moving on into a segment about the Texas lawmakers, Abbott has threatened to remove Texas Democrats from office if they don't show up to vote. Greg Abbott has informed Texas House Democrats that he will attempt to remove them from office if they do not return to pass the GOP's new congressional maps. Abbott said in a letter, "This truancy ends now. The direct Democratic House members must return to Texas and be in attendance when the House reconvenes at 3 p.m. on Monday." Of course, they did not show up August 4th. If they don't return, Abbott said he will initiate the legal action to remove them from office, which I guess he is doing now. This is wild. Not only does this process take forever, but it could take months. It really could. It eliminates the people's right to their own elected officials for one, just because they won't vote to redistrict the entire country, which is an infringement on voter rights. It's genuinely crazy. Not the entire country, the entire state. My bad. In other news about Greg Abbott, he has officially ordered the arrest for said Democratic lawmakers. Greg Abbott has ordered the arrest of Texas Democratic lawmakers looking to stop the state's redistricting. In a statement, Abbott said Texas House Democrats abandoned their duty to Texans by fleeing the state. Texas House Democrats are holding hostage critical legislation to aid flood victims and advance property tax relief. There is consequences for re-election of their duty. He continued, Speaker Dustin Burrows just issued a call of the Texas House and issued warrants to compel members to return to the chamber to ensure compliance. I ordered the Texas Department of Public Safety to locate, arrest, and return to the House chamber any member who has abandoned their duty to Texans. The order will remain in effect until all missing Democratic House members are accounted for and brought to the Texas Capitol. This is wild, and honestly would be crazy if we saw pictures of this. I mean, could you imagine if he actually got to arrest anyone? The pictures would be insane. Like, imagine if we saw Jasmine Crockett in cuffs being perp walked to the House floor. I mean, that would be insane. It really would be. I doubt that we see anyone in cuffs, but could you imagine? That would be crazy. That would be a story that would fuel media for months. We would not stop talking about that. Maybe we would, but I highly doubt that because it would be insane. It would be a story among stories to see Democratic lawmakers being arrested and put into cuffs just for refusing to vote against their own people, vote against taking away voters' rights. I mean, it is genuinely insane. Moving on into the other news segment, we have two topics here today. The first one being the New York governor is considering disbanding the Independent Redistricting Commission. Governor Kathy Hochul has indicated willingness to disband her state's Independent Redistricting Commission. She said her fellow lawmakers are hosting Texas Dems who are on the run, and Hochul said New York is exploring the ability to redistrict as early as 2028 while bypassing the commission. This has drawn backlash from supporters of the group, but the governor explains that the fairness isn't a top priority at a time like this. She said, "I'm tired of this fight with my hands tied behind my back. With all due respect to government good government groups, politics is a political process. The reason why we are able to draw the lines is because we're Democrats, because the majority of the people in the state elected us to be leaders. And when we say that we can't use that power to its fullest, we're abdicating the responsibility that we all have. As much as this does suck, the Democratic Party needs to play dirty to actually get some shit done. For too long have they sat around and done nothing, and that needs to change. If we see some spine, if we see some growth from this party, just like this, my opinion might change on the party. It very well could, but it remains the same for now because we need to see some work done. Before my opinions on that party change. I mean, sure, we're seeing something, but we got to see more. We got to see more push from the Democrats to stop this current administration. Moving on into the final segments tonight, Netanyahu has decided to completely occupy the Gaza Strip. According to the Times of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu has fully decided to occupy the Gaza Strip. Several ministers have reported that Netanyahu said there would be occupation of the Strip in private conversations describing the expansion into military operations. A senior official quoting Netanyahu said, "The die is cast. We are going for a full occupation of the Gaza Strip. Israel currently holds 75% of the Strip, but looks to occupy the remaining territory quickly." Moving on to my topic, or my response. Palestine needs to be freed, and the genocide needs to be stopped. Nobody should have to live through the horrors of anything we've seen in Gaza, and we need to learn from this situation as well. Not just Israel, but the entire world. Religious states should not exist. Every country should have the right to freedom of religion for its people. It is stupid that makes conflicts that create genocide that lead to death of millions, and we've seen it throughout history. It is crazy that we have made it to this point in our society and we haven't realized that religious states are a problem. They need to be ended, and every country around the world should have the freedom of religion for all of its people. With that being said, hopefully you all enjoyed today's episode. It's been an interesting one in the news world, that is for sure. If you are on YouTube, please consider subscribing, dropping a like, dropping a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on all of the news throughout the day. I would really appreciate it. We're on our way to 500 subscribers, and I would love to get there before the end of the year. So if you're new here, help me out. Help me get to 500 subscribers. If you're on Substack, please consider subscribing. All funds go to me. They'll help me pay for the things that I'll need to pay for in college, like food and clothing, and all those kinds of things. If not, you can always subscribe for free. I truly do appreciate all forms of support on this content. It means the world to me. Thank you all so much for watching today's episode, and I will see you all in tomorrow's. Later.